Preparations are underway to honour the Springboks when they bring the trophy home. The Boks secured a historic and unprecedented fourth Rugby World Cup win when they defeated the All Blacks by just 1 point on Saturday night. Some analysts have praised the team for its transformation progress as well. Well, to discuss the feat by the Bokke, I'm joined now by Professor Jon Patricios. He's a physician, medical physician, he's a sports expert, joining us here from Wits University. Prof, good afternoon. Welcome to today and thank you very much for your time. You know, I was wondering, how did they do this? I mean, 3 games winning by 1 point, the quarterfinal, the semi-final, and the final, back to back. The amount of pressure they must have gone through, but physically they were really strong.
Yes, good afternoon, sir, and good afternoon to the listeners and viewers. I think the answer to that is it wasn't by chance that what we witnessed over the last few weeks was the end result of several years of planning. And it just shows what can be accomplished by South Africans when there's a strategy put in place, there's good leadership, and there are players in this instance that follow that plan to the last minute of the last game. And I think it's a great credit to South African rugby, to Jacques Nienaber, Rassie Erasmus, Siya Kolisi and the team for implementing this plan. And exactly as you said, to come through the last 3 weeks, some of the toughest rugby that we've witnessed over the last few years in back-to-back games, I think says a lot for every aspect of the attention to detail that was given to this plan. And a great part of that, as you said, was the conditioning and the medical care.
And that conditioning can only take you to a particular point, I guess, as your body, as your physique is taking a battering in those mauls and the scrums and everything. There must be something else that really keeps you going there to deliver the result you want.
Well, I think conditioning applies really to mental conditioning as well as physical conditioning. And it applies to having the confidence to execute that plan as well. And that confidence comes through competence. And that team knew that they were competent because they had rehearsed, they had prepared for these moments. And so at every breakdown, every tackle, they were immense in executing that plan. And they had great belief because of the structures that had been put in place and the fact that every player had bought into that and been coached by these great leaders to implement that plan. So you're quite right, the physical preparation was a part of it, but certainly the mental belief, a great part of what this Springbok team accomplished.
Yeah, and you mentioned leadership as well, I guess, on and off the field. Siya Kolisi is the captain, and the rest of the people supporting. And he mentioned himself the importance of teamwork. I guess once there's a plan in place and you're preparing for it, there's a vision and the strong leadership, you are able to follow it through properly.
That's correct. And we see the leaders who present themselves to us on the screen, Siya Kolisi being part of that and probably the face of the team, Rassie and Jacques as well. But behind the scenes, there's a very competent South African rugby board that has very sound leadership, which is not something we always see in South African sport. And I want to pay credit to the medical leadership as well. Dr. Jerome Mampane, who puts in tremendous hours during the games, during travel and in preparation, and his medical team who he led, and the conditioning team as well. So in every respect, there is leadership that has come to the fore during this campaign. And if we as South Africans want to take something out of it, it is really that we can, as a country, in various spheres, achieve a lot if we have a strategy that is well led and has everybody buying into it and applying that strategy in every sense.
You know, that hashtag they've been using on social media, as you were speaking there now, Prof, comes to mind, hashtag stronger together, and in every sphere. I mean, look how diverse this Boks squad is currently. It's taken years, of course, to get there, but it's not based on favors or deployments, on political deployments. It's based on competence. It is on merit.
Again, that was part of a strategic plan. The elite development program has brought through the best players through our youth system. And if I think back 8 or 10 years ago, there were two New Zealand coaches, well-respected, Steve Hansen and Graham Henry, who publicly stated that South Africa will never be a force in world rugby because they were forced to select certain players. And I think the results over the last few weeks have proven that wrong. We've seen now that exactly what you said, it's not a cliche, stronger together. We're now drawing on a far more diverse pool of players. And that is a philosophy that should be applied in every sphere of South African life. We must realize how stronger we are when we reach out to a more diverse pool of talent. And this Springbok side has certainly shown that. And everybody supports the Springbok players for who they are. And that is great South Africans who are good at what they do and committed to a cause.
Yeah, and as you were speaking, as we conclude, I'm reminded of Bafana squad that won the African Cup of Nations in 1996, just after being readmitted a year after the Springboks won the first Rugby World Cup in 1995. The captain of Bafana then was Neil Tovey, and the team then was very diverse as well compared to what we've seen now over the years. But their vision is important, the leadership, and I guess commitment to that vision and to make it really, take it right to the end. And now Springboks are world champions again, back to back, for the fourth time, the first country ever to do that. And that belies what those two New Zealand coaches said years ago, that we will never become a great rugby nation. We've proved them wrong. We've proved them wrong.
Correct. We proved them wrong. And exactly as you said, it's a commitment to a cause. Now, it was a roller coaster ride at times. And because of the strategy, the broader strategy that was in place, at times there was some experimentation with players with different positions, with bringing players from overseas and interchanging them. And those plans didn't always work out. But everybody understood what the greater vision was and what the end goal was. And that was achieved this last weekend. And I think looking at the degree of support that it garnered across the country, one can see that the social cohesion benefits, the ripple effects of such a strategy are now evident. And as a country, we cannot lose that. We have to build on it. And the next steps forward in terms of how we take that strategy to a new level and apply it, because we won't always have these leaders here. As we know, Jacques Nienaber is moving on. But these leaders now need to have their vision entrenched and have it taken forward by the new generation. And we have to each look at ourselves and see how we're going to play a part in that.
Yeah, we need to find a way of bottling this, putting it in this magic bottle called, and make South Africa a beautiful, great country. Thank you very much, Professor Jon Patricios, is sharing some of his views on the back of that fourth Rugby World Cup victory by the Springboks. There's a lot to take out of the book of the Springboks as a country, you and I as individuals, but as a collective as well. I can tell you this, we are stronger together.